can't force this sort of change. For many of us, we don't interact all that much. I'm a very private person. You might be too. Well, that makes it easier, doesn't it? Because then you're not in as many situations where things could become out of order, as it were. So John goes on to say, do not love the world or the things in the world. Now, the cults love this because they sensationalize the world as being Satan's domain, and if you're a Christian or whatever, you need to stay out of it. I think we'll go around again, but we'll go in the opposite direction. The world is a wonderful place. You might find yourself in the wrong place at the wrong time, or the right place at the right time. Consider the people that were holidaying in Thailand at the time of the tsunami. Many hundreds of Westerners, if not thousands, died. 250,000 people died in that tsunami that hit Aceh and all the rest of that coastline in Thailand, etc. My wife and I watched the footage the other month, and I tell you what, it really leaves you shaken at what the possibilities are when this earth goes wrong. Incredible destruction in minutes. In minutes, just 250,000 people gone. That's twice, 2.5 times the atomic bomb. 100,000 people died in Hiroshima and Nagasaki individually, if I've got the figures right. Somebody might give the correct figures on that, but the enormous catastrophic impact that had on the humanity in those areas. So you don't know what's going to happen from one minute to the other. But the world itself is a beautiful place. It's a place where we can make of it what we will. Your world might be where you live with your cat and your dog. You're only going to make of it what you will. And you know what? Religion can even intrude into that small space in your life, where you're constantly thinking that what can I do now? Or what haven't I done now to make God happy or stop him from being sad? And it becomes, as it were, like a diversion. It diverts you from the life that you're supposed to be living now, because you're constantly trying to conform and live up to religious idealisms. We can even make them up in our mind. I just don't think people realize how intrusive psychologically religion can be in a person's mind. It's major. Trying to unravel a religious mind is like trying to unravel a fisherman's knot in his line. It just goes on and on and on. But the world itself is a beautiful place, and one of the nice parts of the world that my wife and I like is Bali. And you'll see some videos that I've done from there. You can go to Bali, they look after you there, they really care, and you can have a good rest from the pressures that you might be experiencing in your life where you live. But he says, do not love the world or the things in the world. Now this is relative to the cruel parts of humanity, where cruelty is encouraged. Back in that time, I think it was more popular, but westernized civilization's taken a lot of cruelty out of it, and you will be punished yourself if you try and be cruel. That's the whole point of social structure, isn't it? To stop cruelty. My wife works in childcare, and every now and then she'll come home and say one of the children bit another child, or one of the children took something from another child, or one of the children pushed over another child, as it were, on purpose. And they've got to try and help these little children realize that that's not what you do. You're not allowed to do that. That's not part of being a good person. And she does work in a Baptist childcare center, and whilst they might be singing all the Jesus songs and everything 1 minute, the child's behaviour will be what it is as it unfolds during the day. And as these carers, they've got to not only show these people love, these children love, they've got to help them to also see the things that are cruel. Now, by the time we get to adults, goodness me, we know what cruel and what, and all the nastinesses of humanity are, both passive and aggressive. But the world itself is a neutral, like money. It's neutral. It's how we use it, it's how we live in it that counts. So don't take these statements about the world as, you know, separating yourself from the entirety of the world. Take it as meaning it's neutral. There's a neutrality there, and it's how you're going to present yourself in it that counts. But the world itself, look at it. This is just one little sand speck here, is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful place. Now, that doesn't mean the world itself can't be cruel, because it can. My goodness me, anything could happen at any time, as I mentioned before, but for the most part the world is a beautiful, beautiful place. So don't love the cruel things of the world or the cruel things in the world. If anyone loves the cruel influences of the world, I'm going to say that as an amplified term, because again, the world itself is neutral. It's the people in it that are the problem, not the world. And a lot of religious people separate themselves from the whole thing and isolate themselves in the religion that they've chosen, or the cult which they've chosen, and then they end up in all social economic problems within themselves. They end up all messed up and mixed up about how good or bad life really is. And that's not healthy, and that's not what it's about. If anyone loves the world, the cruel things of the world, right, being encouraged to be cruel to people, the love of the Father is not in him. Well, that'd be obvious, wouldn't it? Because the love of God is reflected by the way we treat one another, isn't it? So we're getting down to making this as simple to understand as we can, aren't we? It's not all that complicated when you get the context. This is all about human interaction and how we treat one another and behave. It's all about behavior, really. Family dynamics, personal dynamics. But we'll go on. Let me find my spot, as I've just hooked this up to the bike again and I've lost my spot. I hope you're enjoying the view. Oh, we've gone to John 3, we're only in John 2, there we go. Then John goes on to say, hang on. he goes off about if anyone loves the world, the Father is not in him. Now again, this is the negative, cruel aspects of the world and treating people less than what you should as a Christian. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world. This is a good one for the cults to use, because they take it in a context that's entire and not specific, whereas it's specific to cruel behavior. Say sex, for instance, sexual immorality and adultery are cruel forms of the use of sex, but sex inside of marriage, done right and respectfully, is the right form. So there's a worldly form and there's a Christian form. And so on. And the world is passing away. Well, we're passing away. So it's a little bit of an extraordinary statement, isn't it? And I think the Jehovah Witnesses ignore this statement, the world is passing away, because in Revelation 21, the world is going to be, or the earth is going to be destroyed with fire. So that's going to make a terrible mess of their paradise, isn't it? Yeah, Dr. Jason Morrison, theologist again. I just want to say thank you for watching the videos, and I hope you got plenty of self-rediscovery and freedom out of it. If you watched it on YouTube, please share or like, maybe even comment. If you watched it on Facebook, like, comment, share. But most of all, get out and live. This isn't a rehearsal. You've got a one-off life. Don't let your loyalty and your faithfulness blind you to the life that you should be experiencing. Till the next video, thank you for watching, and bye for now.